The problem that we found and the problem everyone else has found is that nobody knows what their dependencies are, right? Like most service owners I talk to can list they think they know maybe half of their dependencies, right? Or could list them. And in reality, it's probably even less than that. And the guys I talk to who've run services a lot, they know this. And they'll tell me straight up, they're like, oh God, I don't even know, right? Like you think, but it's a moving target, code's constantly changing, right? Knowing who your dependencies are is a hard problem. And so what we did is we just looked at outbound socket connections, right? Like people you were making a real request to. Our agent is sitting on the host or inside the container if you're in a containerized environment. And we have network permissive access, so we can see the sockets and we can see the IP addresses we're talking to. Now we can't actually see the data because if you're running like, TLS or something, that's happening at the application layer, so we don't see any insight into what you're saying when you talk to them. But what we actually can see is we can see DNS resolutions for IP addresses, right? And so if I can see what that IP address resolves to, and I can see you're talking to that IP address, I can say with good confidence that's an IP address that is your dependency. You're making some request to it. And like maybe you say, yeah, but it's like not a critical request or it's just like a startup thing, and that's fine. But prove it, right? Like run a network attack, block it with Gremlin, run a chaos attack, and demonstrate that like this isn't a real dependency, right? It's that trust but verify step. Here's the verify, like prove to me that this dependency, that this thing either isn't a dependency or at very least is not a critical dependency. When we talk about dependency discovery in particular, it's like, here are the things we see you're talking to. Maybe you think they're not important, but let's find out, right? Let's actually run either, a latency or let's block packets or something. Let's find out just how critical these are to you, right? And the second piece there really is like when we run the fault injection against your service, we're hooked up to your monitoring, right? And so we can tell when your service goes down or if it's negatively impacted, and we can immediately remove that again, right? And that's that real like controlled experiment, because there's like 2 times you can find out whether or not this is going to happen. The first time is like when you do this tight control experiment, all your people are there, they're fresh. And the second time is at 2 a.m. in the morning when your CEO pages you because all of a sudden nothing's working. Because we all know it's going to fail at some point, right? Like a lot of the software we build is just so complex that sooner or later these failures are going to crop up. And either you can handle them in ways that automatically recover, and you can learn about your system and you can understand and then make that conscious decision, is this worth fixing or not? Or you can find out in the middle of the night. And I like to sleep.